friends, it's Laura from CoolMomAndCollected.com, and in today's video we are talking about all the ways I plan to keep my Kinderleben students busy this coming homeschool year. A Kinderleben student is basically any child under the age of 6. I'm a homeschool mom of 5 children under 8, and we do a Charlotte Mason philosophy with Ambleside Online. If you guys want to see all of my Kinderleben videos, I have a ton, from planning my homeschool year to sharing my literacy and math basket, so make sure that you guys check those out. Now, something really cool that's happening on this channel is that other homeschool moms are getting into the comments section and they're starting to share their experiences, their perspective, their ideas. And I see this as a total plus, because there's not going to be one homeschool mom that knows it all. You can follow different people on social media, but not everybody has all the answers. And it's when we all come together, I'm getting great ideas, you're getting great ideas, we're all sharing, and that's what I want this space to be. Now, I will say with these activities I'm about to share, they wouldn't necessarily be something I'd make sure that your Kinderleben student would have access to all throughout the week. Instead, I think only pulling out these items when, say, there's a free space where you're working with your older students and homeschooling them, and these children have nothing to do, or say you don't have the time to do the math or the literacy basket because you're working with them, you can guide them to these occupations or activities that will be much more fruitful for them rather than just run around and find something to do. I think it's also going to teach them a lot of independence. But real quick, if you guys are enjoying these kinds of videos, please just give a quick like and subscribe. It really helps me know that this is the direction I should continue to go, and I really appreciate every comment that I get. So the first activity that I plan to use for my Kinderleben students, and I don't know why I've never thought of this before, I think I might have got this idea from Ambleside Online, it's collaging. Get your Kinderleben students a pair of scissors, get them glue or a glue stick, get them a bunch of different child-safe magazines, and then get them a special notebook, and then let them get creative cutting out different pictures from the magazine and posting them into their special notebook. You can even give themes before you do. You can even say, hey guys, while I'm working with your siblings, mommy wrote things I like at the top of your notebook, and I want you to go through this magazine and I want you to cut out or rip out anything that you like and then glue it onto this sheet of paper in your notebook. I mean, I don't know. I think that could turn out being really epically cute. So that is just a suggestion. It could also be, hey, I want you to put all your favorite animals that you find in the magazine on this page. I think that could be a really cute look back on moment. The next thing is painting. Now, working with older students and letting your Kinderlebens paint, yeah, that could get messy. But there's a bunch of different no mess type of paints and things like that. While I know we really want to expose our children to the good stuff, let's be real that it might not always be convenient and worthwhile for every parent to just give their kid a paintbrush and tell them to create a Picasso inspired painting. We might want to go the route of giving them, you know, those mess-free type colors. This is just something to keep your Kinderlebens busy. You have it written down so you know what to grab. You're not overwhelmed. You're not just throwing on mindless TV. You're prepared because you know what items you're comfortable with them using. Another item, which I'm sure you're all going to go, we know, Play-Doh. Play-Doh's great, but listen, if you have a ton of Play-Doh and your kids aren't really into it, do you know that there's just so many Play-Doh accessories? I know we don't want to, make our homes a little Play-Doh station, but take a look because there's some real creative things. My kids have a really great time with just simple cookie cutters and a rolling pin, and I even give them a little baking sheet and they literally cut out Play-Doh cookies. And then, when I can get to them, we pretend that they're selling it to me and I'm eating them or whatever. Or designing cakes, or there's just so much to do with Play-Doh. And I think that when we just give kids Play-Doh and tell them play, it could at times be a little like, what do you want me to do with this? But if you give them a job, give them a goal, then I think it becomes a little more exciting for them. The next thing to consider is kinetic sand. However, you might want to consider getting like a tray that the kinetic sand goes in to, just catch the mess, because kinetic sand can still get very messy. It always ends up all over the floor. But maybe when you pull out the kinetic sand, you do it knowing it is going to get messy, because we all have days like that. But I still think kinetic sand was worth mentioning. Again, there's accessories that you can make a sand castle with kinetic sand. And again, I think that can keep kids busy too. You can also pull out those little animal figurines and not just make it about kinetic sand, but start having them build different things. And that can add a little bit of interest to otherwise just being kinetic sand. Another thing that I put down is markers. Now, ain't nothing wrong with going with the markers that don't stain the couches and all that. They're stain free or no mess, dye free. Or, there's some markers that only write on certain paper, and then there's some markers that they're washable. So you guys can look into that as well. If anything I'm mentioning, you're like, ooh, use this brand or whatever, go put it in the comments down below, because moms trust moms, and it'd be cool to see what you have to say. Another thing that it would be really great is for chalk and a chalkboard. And buy each kid like a little tablet chalkboard, or like I have a big one over there. Don't mind the laundry. I have a big board over here that if I wanted to, it's on a magnetic, like we put it on a little magnetic thing so we can pull it off, and we can literally have the kids draw and do their little designs, then we wipe it off and we can put it back. Consider that. You can get two. You can get a set of two on Amazon, I know. Sometimes you can even find them at the dollar store, but they're basically tablets, not electronic, but they're just tablets, and then they have like a pen attached, and you can just draw, and that's another really fun thing that could possibly keep them busy. Large sheets of paper. Have you guys ever taken a large sheet of paper and rolled it across your floor and then gave your kid cards, crayons, people, animals, and let them create a little town? And guys, there's no surprise here. If the kids happen to be fighting over using one piece of paper, do the extra work, get the extra squatting, and just roll another piece of paper down for that other child. Now, another thing, tons of living books, guys. If you go to the library like I love, you can find so many living books, and if you use the Ambleside Online book list like I do, then you can really ensure you're not getting, twaddle books that aren't going to really inspire your child, but they're going to be filled with beautiful illustration, beautiful stories, so that's great. Puzzles. Guys, if you don't have any puzzles today, I can guarantee you could probably go to the thrift store and find a ton of great quality puzzles for cheap. We have a ton of Melissa and Doug wooden puzzles because we really like the quality, but puzzles are something that's so fun for children. It doesn't just have to be Melissa and Doug. It can be like a 20-piece puzzle, or those big floor puzzles could be really fun. And as you're teaching your Kinderleben students how to do these things independently while you're working with your olders, you can also remind them to put things back when they are done. So again, you're not giving them all these things at once, but we can also practice during these times that when they independently go to take the approved items that you've set out for them, they can then clean them up and put them back. You don't want all these items all over the place, so just one at a time, or maybe give them two options, depending on how much time you're going to be working with your olders in that little area of time. Stamps, guys. Stamps are really cool. Again, I have Melissa and Doug wooden stamps. But there's so many different types of stamps that you guys can get from the thrift store or from Amazon or from wherever you guys like to go. I think that stamps would also be great in that how we talked about having a notebook for collage. Stamps and stickers is another thing that you can get really cheap. If you go to a Dollar Tree, you can get so many stickers. I had to get it. So look, me growing up, I made my own sticker book. This is to this day one of my favorite childhood memories that I have physically. And this is Laura's sticker book, 1997. So I was 11 years old actually, I think. But guys, this is good for everyone. This is good for anyone, even Kinderleben students. So let me just show you. You go to the Dollar Tree, you just get a bunch of stickers. And then when you're doing school with your older kids and say you have a little time, you could say, all right, guys, I want you to get your sticker books. Mommy has new stickers for you guys, and I want you to put them down. Now, is there a chance they quickly put them down and then bam, wham, and then wham, bam, you're done, and you're like, that was not enough time. Get them to decorate the pages. They can color, they can do different things. This is just an activity idea that I think is awesome. But look how fun. I filled this entire thing. Some of these stickers I still remember. And you know what? I really should have done both pages. But look how proud I was. Can you imagine what 11-year-old Laura was thinking when I completed this book? There's just so much fun. So between this, stamps, you could also buy them different stamps and let them just like kind of stamp away. Remember, we don't need beautiful narration notebooks for this. You can just get like a dollar book from the dollar store. And not all of these books need to be keepsakes either. You can toss them. So I don't know, some of these must have been my brother's, because what was that about? Teletubbies, anyone? So yeah, there's just so much that you can do with that. And that's it, guys. These are some ideas. Again, did I go out to the store and buy a bunch of stuff? No. If you're like, Laura, a lot of the stuff is basic. It's because I shopped my home. I saw what I already had, and I'm hoping that encourages you guys, that you have things around the house that can keep your children busy. And now I really am counting on you moms. I know there's a ton of you that are like, oh my gosh, what about this? What about that? What about this? You know, write it in the comments down below, because I want this to be a space where everybody comes, not just for what I have to say, but for the comments. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I know in the comments below if there's any other video you'd like to see from me. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember, take a deep breath and stay cool, calm, and collected. Bye.